Hey guys, and welcome to The Last Word, Synergy Football Radio, Madden, CFM News for you, brought to you guys by thegamergloves.com. We have a great show for you today. I am accompanied by my man Ruben. What's up, Ruben?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, man? Now we're gonna go straight right into it. The topics we're gonna go today is gonna be the big one is the power rankings. Just came out. We have everybody. There's some people that believe that should be higher, some people that should be lower. I mean, that games have already happened that should have taken people up and down. But this is one for, what is it, the third, 3/4 of the season is done. And this is what we have with power rankings. We're going to go with the top 5. Power rankings! Ruben, what do you think? What stands out right now to you out of all the rankings? When you first saw it, what popped into your mind? And what did you think?
Honestly, the Dolphins being so low. I mean, the Dolphins have put up great numbers. They played a couple of good teams, and they have a solid record. I mean, they look geared up for the playoffs. They look like a world beater right now.
Okay, the Dolphins low. Now, let's go through their top 5 and see if they deserve to be in the top 5. Let's go with number 1, Tennessee. Do you agree or disagree that Tennessee should be number 1?
Absolutely agree. Nobody's been able to beat them so far, and they've, proven in this franchise they're a decent team year in and year out.
Now, when it comes to them, do you think their strength of schedule ranks up to the other ranked teams?
I mean, there's really only 3 games that pop out in terms of strength, like strong games: Chiefs,
okay,
the Broncos, and the Panthers. But they're still undefeated. You got to give them that. Their strength schedule is the strongest, but they're still doing well.
True. I mean, they're the strongest. They haven't been unbeaten, but yeah, their only accomplishments were that. I mean, no offense, but they've kind of had some really bum teams. I mean, his divisions by itself, no offense, guys, but his division, they've faced the Bucks, that division, the Raiders, the Broncos is the only one that stands out to me, the Falcons. I mean, was that the new Falcons? Was that new Falcons? He's all right. Then you have the Bengals, which, I mean, he only beat them by 2 points. And the Bengals are at number 4. I mean, I guess it's a tough team. But not many people. And then the rest of the schedule is the Chargers, Patriots, and the Saints.
Yeah, I think those next 3 games really solidify this number 1 spot if they can pull out all 3, especially against the Chargers and the Saints, both being playoff teams for the most part.
Okay, yeah, number 5. Now, what about number 2? The Bills, did they deserve to be? I mean, they got down because they lost to the Bengals and they lost to, what did they lose? 2 games already? 1 or 2 games? I mean, do they still deserve the number 2 pick or in the number 2
Absolutely rankings? Not. I believe that spot belongs to the Detroit Lions, but hey,
why the Detroit Lions? What the hell he's done compared to the Bills?
I mean,
go ahead.
Detroit made it to the NFC title game last year, fell short by 1 play. Lions actually beat the Bills pretty handily in the regular season last season, absolutely destroying them.
Yeah, but we're
11
not
sacks
talking
and about
about
8 turnovers on the game.
But we're not talking about last season. We're talking about this season.
Hey, new season, same stuff. I don't believe the Bills deserve this spot. I think maybe 3 or 4 is good. It's good for them.
Okay, well, I mean they've beaten the Dolphins, they've beaten the Cowboys. They've beaten the Broncos. They've beaten the Dolphins again. The only loss, I mean, he beat the Ravens, which are, well, I guess that's 7-7. The only loss he's gotten is to the Bengals, which is a top-ranked team, and he only lost by a field goal. Well, I'm telling you right now, the Broncos was going to be a great team, and it's still a great team. They were going undefeated. First one to beat them, the Bills. The Dolphins came in undefeated. First one to beat them was the Bills. Well, I mean, that was second of the season. But they didn't lose anything until the Bills again. They've also played some garbage team, but when it comes to strength of schedule, they still have the Eagles to go for. And that's basically about it. And they got the 2-11 Redskins, and there's basically Breeze and Breeze. Plus, they have the number 2 offense. Allen is number 2 in MVP race. Listenby, which is a 73 overall wide receiver, is putting up Hall of Fame numbers. I mean, this offensive coordinator is just going bananas. And the only person to stop them was the Bengals. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a train wreck between the Bills and the Titans, which the Bills got over the hump and got to the Super Bowl. I mean, they're looking like another Super Bowl run. So I believe they should be number one. Only reason why they're not number one is because they're defeated. If he would have pulled off that win against the Bengals, then they would still be number one because of strength of schedule.
I got to give respect for it too, but I'm just not sold on it till we get to the playoffs. I mean, they beat some great teams, but it's not sold quite yet.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the Lions. I mean, Ruben, you did a great job with the Lions, but I'm telling you right now that the Lions, even though their strength of schedule is up there, don't get me wrong, but you've had some trap games, and I mean the loss to the Bears.
Definitely had some trap games.
The loss to the Bears holds you back a lot. I mean that guy cannot run a team. It's garbage. and then what is that? Two losses, right? Or no, 3 losses. You got no. I mean you're up there. Don't get me wrong, but the losses have to add up. I mean, a loss to the Bears. Who else did you lose to? It was the Bears. But that was a pretty close game. You did beat the Saints. I mean, those are pretty damn good games.
I say the 2 Packers games were the 2 toughest games I've played this season.
Then you have the Packers by 1. I mean, but where are the losses to? Oh, the Vikings. The Vikings and the Cowboys, those are the ones. I mean, the Bears are the ones that stand out. 7-17 and 6-18. But besides that,
my division's tough. Man, there's some tough dudes in my division. Definitely some trap games in there.
True, that is true. I mean, when it comes to the Bills, well, the Bills does. Yeah, the Titans at the number 1 spot. You're right. The Titans do have an easier division, so that's 6 games. That basically are wins. And then the Bills, they have the Dolphins, but they've been controlling the Dolphins. I mean, they've won them both times. So I guess, and then the Bengals, I mean, who else is in the Bengals? The Steelers, the Browns. Maybe the Ravens will give them a shot, but besides that, you're right. I guess the Lions deserve a little bit of spot. So going to the Lions, number 3 spot. Well, obviously you say that you should be at number 2.
I believe so, but I mean, I understand the number 3 ranking. I do have some losses in there, but I'd say I probably had the toughest schedule in the entire franchise. I mean, my first 4 games started out Chargers, Broncos, Packers, and Eagles, like all really good teams. Pulled 3 of them out and lost to the Broncos, but I mean, for the rest of the schedule, we have the Vikings are always tough. They always hang around. And the Saints, the Chiefs, and the Packers again, like pretty tough teams going through. And then a trap game to the Bears. Lost that one, but
well,
I got a tough schedule.
To be fair, when that came in, that was your first time facing that user. You faced the Broncos. That was a tough game, but both of you guys are ranked. But now, the Broncos, I mean,
they're slipping a little bit.
What do you mean a little bit? A lot of it. I mean, the Broncos.
A lot of it.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, they were top 2 in the first 2 rankings, top 2. And then just loss, and loss. I mean,
some pretty big losses too.
Well, the thing is, it's a bit against top-ranked teams, and when you're gonna go playoff time, you have to face these top-ranked teams. You're not gonna face the Bears. You're not gonna face the Vikings. You're not gonna face the Raiders, and you're not gonna face these. But I mean, look at these losses. The Bills lost to the Bills. Who else did they lose to? They lost to the Titans. They lost
to a bunch
the
of ballers. All good teams.
We'll beat the Chiefs again. Lost to Green Bay. It's just these losses are, I mean, these are baller teams, you're right. But come playoffs, that's who you're going to face. Am I right?
Yep.
I mean,
you're right. You're right. Hey, if you can beat good teams, will beat good teams. That's what they're supposed to do. That's how you get in the playoffs. You win out.
Nah,
I mean,
number 1 offense, but I mean, are they truly number 1 offense going against most of these scrubs? No offense, guys, but going against teams that are not ranked.
I think down this rough stretch they're having right now, turnover has been the biggest problem. I mean, Chad Kelly's been turning the ball over a lot compared to like the first 7 games. It's been a complete turnaround.
But that's what he does. Didn't he throw like 50 touchdowns with 40 interceptions?
Something crazy like that. I mean, stat line started out really well and starting to slip a lot.
Agreed.
He could always pick it back up in the playoffs, but I mean, he hasn't really proven he could beat good teams besides the Lions, which was a crazy team.
All right. Now moving on to number 4, the Bengals. What do you think of that? Deserving or not deserving? He does move up 3 spots.
I mean, that's quite a sizable jump up in the rankings, but hey, he's proven that he can ball. He could ball at the best of them in this league. So I think number 3 is a good spot. Or number 4?
Number 4.
Number four is a good spot for the Bengals.
I think he.
I mean, a really close
4,
game to the Cardinals, and yeah.
You know what? I want to move him up. I think he deserved the 3 spot. I believe if you beat a team, you should jump up higher. I mean, he didn't move 3 spots, but okay, yeah. So he lost 4 games. He lost to the Cardinals. What else did he lose to? But
Chargers,
the
Titans, the Ravens. The Ravens one sticks out to me. I mean, come on.
Well, that one does stick out because of the 7-7 record. But this dude has knocked down some Goliaths. I mean,
That's true.
Beating the Bills was a huge accomplishment. I mean, he has. Well, actually, looking at his schedule, he has. I mean, the biggest wins are against the Seahawks, against the Bills, and yeah, you're right. That's about it. Okay, so
it's another case of a team not being able to hang with the big boys. I mean, he's getting there though. It's a big improvement from where he was last season. I only see this team getting better, honestly. And we'll see what happens when it comes playoff time.
Okay. Now let's go on into our next segment, guys. We're gonna go into our next segment. We got the power rankings. We see this now. Looking at the power rankings, let's talk about overrated and underrated. Which team do you think is overrated?
Whew. Me personally, I'm already giving my take. I think it's Buffalo. Honestly, now looking at it, I think Cincinnati's pretty overrated. Like, they've only beaten 2 good teams. I don't really think they deserve that 4th spot. That's a pretty high spot for a team that really hasn't beaten anybody besides. Well, they beat the Bills, but that's about it.
Okay. Now, for me, overrated, I would have to think is the Broncos. Obviously, as you've seen, he dropped 5 spots. And I think he's still overrated. I don't think he's going to... I mean, he's a good guy and he has great offense. But if you're not going to beat any of the top teams, you might as well not show up to the playoffs. You have to get there.
I mean, he started 7-0 and, like, playoffs might not even be a thing for him anymore.
True, because, I mean, he was first in division, undefeated. And then after the Bills game, it was just downhill from then. He still has the Chargers to play, which is number 6. I mean, when it comes to the Broncos, I believe they're overrated. I also think the other team that is overrated, I want to say, is the Seahawks. To me, the Seahawks are overrated. I don't think they deserve that record that they have. They've played some really sorry teams and haven't much. They've been kind of coasting through. And the Cardinals. I mean, let's talk about the Cardinals.
Oh man, it's been a tough season, but honestly, the Cardinals could beat anybody in this franchise. Like,
well, I mean, we've seen that. We've seen with the freaking Super Bowl. But come on, man.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on over there in Arizona this year, but it's rough. It is rough.
I mean, look at this. Look, this is the Seahawks. This is why the Seahawks are overrated. They lost to the Bengals. They lost to the Saints, big boy teams. I mean, his biggest win was against the Arizona Cardinals, but obviously, after the Super Bowl, they drank too much. I mean, look at this. The Steelers, the Buccaneers. I mean, the 49ers, he only beat them by 10. The Rams, that's it. And then when the Cardinals came back, well, the Seahawks got smashed, 0-46.
Yeah, that's rough right there. I mean, that's another case of a team just skating through the schedule, playing. I mean, not to be rude or anything, but not the best teams.
Oh, right
Especially that
now.
Cardinals loss, man. That's rough.
So your team overrated, underrated. Yours is Dolphins. My underrated team has to be so underrated, man. I'm gonna go out on a limb right here. The underrated team for me is the Panthers. Most underrated
Uh,
team right now is the Panthers. Tough schedule. I mean, I'm talking about the new
uh,
Panthers. The old
yeah,
Panthers,
yeah, yeah.
let's go. We're talking about a new user. The old Panthers guy gave him a hole. But look at his last couple games right now. I'm gonna pull up the schedule right
He's,
now.
I mean,
Look at this. I mean, he did lose. Let me see. He beat.
well, this dude seems legit.
There you go. So he beat the Falcons. He beat the Bucks, which is a decent team. And the biggest one is he beat the Saints. He beat a playoff
Yep.
team. And he has lost to the Cardinals, but only by 1 point. He lost to the
This
Super
dude's
Bowl winning
offense
champion
is
for one.
insane. Yeah.
Cam's
This
throwing
dude's
for,
offense is nuts.
Cam
Like,
is throwing
he could
for
put up
300,
numbers.
400 yards a game. This dude is
Man.
completely underrated. This is the guy that I'm telling you right now is gonna win his division next season. I'm calling it right now.
This dude in the Saints, so that's some must-watch TV right there. I'm excited for this dude next season. I think
Correct. And I
he's
want
gonna
to
get the
see what he
Saints a run
does
for his
against.
money.
And I want to see what he does against the Packers because they're gonna be. They have a chance. Do they even have a chance at playoffs? Let's see the playoff bubble. Because if they beat the Packers, I mean the Packers are sitting in the bubble. Right in the bubble right now. I mean the Packers are in. Right now in the bubbles is basically 77 Minnesota, 76 Rams. But don't get. I mean if the Rams are gonna lose, the Falcons they're gonna lose. Giants they're gonna lose. You can sneak in at 8-8. I mean 9-7. Philadelphia, I think they're going to lose another one. That's the most.
I definitely. I can see
you know
them winning
what?
out.
I'm going on a limb right now and saying that they make playoffs. They make
Ooh,
playoffs.
that's a bold statement right there. I don't know about that. I mean, they may be a little bit lost in the sauce right now. Like they're kind of dug in a deep hole, but it's possible, very possible. Don't count them out.
You're talking about the Eagles, all right? So the Eagles, their schedule is already pretty tough. They have to play the Cowboys twice. Let's see their last game. Eagles versus Bills. That's a loss. So I'm not counting out the Eagles, but say they do lose. Then you got the Vikings. That's another tough team. He's not going to go down easy. All right, so that's two teams. Okay, say those are two possible losses. So it does come down to the Packers and the Panthers. But the Packers still might sneak in. If the Eagles have to win out their last 2 out of 3. They're gonna have to come up with the upset somewhere because they're gonna be left behind.
I don't see the Eagles pulling that out.
I don't see that either. The beating the Vikings, I can see that, but that's not gonna be easy. I mean, the Vikings only reason
They're
lost
tough,
so many
man.
tough teams.
Tough team, good roster.
But the Panthers, their schedule
I can see them making it happen. Though.
looks promising.
So 9-7 for them. I mean, we can assume the Packers are going to win the next 2 games.
Their biggest game is out of the way. They just finished beating the Saints. That was their biggest obstacle. The Texans 3-11, Packers 8-6. Even with the loss of the Packers, they might sneak in with the loss of the Eagles. Because there ain't no way the Vikings gonna get in. I mean, if the Vikings win out, they have a chance. But the Vikings,
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either.
All right, I think you're right on this one. I think, hey, with the Panthers' offense, the way it's been moving the ball, I mean, they look like the team that you don't want to see in the playoffs. They're probably going to make it there.
I mean, is it scary to say that they could win the Super Bowl?
New coach. I don't know. They're on a hot streak. NFC's tough, but
I mean, the Cardinals not in it. Take out the Cardinals. What you gonna do, Ruben? Take out the Cardinals. Take them out. They're not there.
Take that.
Who beats them?
Still got.
Who beats them?
I haven't seen enough of Carolina yet to make a bold statement like that, but Hey, I'll say that's not that'd be a game I'm looking forward to, but not a team I want to see in the playoffs.
Last year's NFC division game, Arizona versus who? The Lions.
Yep.
All right.
No. We played the championship game. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so the championship game. So Arizona's out. Lions. You're the Lions. You think this guy's gonna be there? You think he's gonna be there in that championship game?
Yeah, if he is there, he's definitely not gonna beat the Lions. That's for sure. I mean, they're not proven enough. I don't see them getting that far. Okay. I don't see them really making it out of the wild card round, honestly.
Okay, so
they're good, but they're not proven enough.
This is a great subject because the AFC, you already know the powerhouses. You got Tennessee and Buffalo. Most likely are going to be in the AFC Championship. I mean, let's say the Buffalo Bills goes against Miami. Whatever. The Bills have beat everyone but the Bengals. Now, if the Bengals might give Buffalo a run for their money, and then it'll be Tennessee and Buffalo. Because obviously Tennessee's beaten all these top-ranked teams. And we kind of see the picture here. But on this side, okay, let's talk about the NFC. So New Orleans, say the Panthers gets in. It's going to be New Orleans versus Panthers again. Who wins that one?
That's a toss-up, man. The Saints has been there and done that, though. True. I got to give it to the Saints.
I don't know. Well, you know what? I think it's going to be a closer game. But if he can't stop this offense, it's going to be trouble for New Orleans. But I'm not.
Not a lot of people have been able to.
Correct. And New Orleans has a top offense, and for him to be able to pull out a win from them in regular, not even overtime, just regular time. Seahawks, let's count them out. Eagles, I count them out. They're both wild card teams. They haven't proven to beat anybody, especially the Eagles with a tough division. Dallas has proven. Detroit, yes. Do I see him getting past Dallas? Do I see him getting past Detroit? I don't know. Detroit has a great offense as well. But I'm still
it really comes down to that Saints. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that say they get in number 5 spot. If the Panthers get in the number 5 spot, which I don't think they will. Yeah, say they win out, they get into the number 5 spot, then you can see a Detroit Panthers game in the NFC Championship. I'm calling it right now. If they get into the number 5 spot.
Hey, it's a bold statement. I can't really go out on a limb and say anything too soon because I haven't seen much of this team. But so far, they've proven they can move the ball. They can score.
True. The thing is that when you get in a hot streak, I've seen hot streaks happen. I mean, you saw it in real life in the Philadelphia Eagles. When you get in a hot streak, you get in a hot streak. And the thing is, people haven't been able to figure them out yet. How long until they figure them out?
I don't think it's going to be this season.
I mean, it's only a few games. I mean, we saw it with RG3 when his first rookie season. They didn't figure him out to the next season. Now he's garbage.
Yep.
We didn't say the same thing with Mariota. Great first season, man. Next season. Sam Donald, first 4 games. Wow, he's the future. Boom, he's garbage.
I don't know. I think this guy's a little different. He's pretty good. I think he's here to stay and compete.
But this is also Madden. I mean, say what you want, but people love their plays. People love their play. If they can't figure out their plays, and it looks like from the last game I saw, he has a variety of different plays, not just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And that's what it's gonna come down to. Are you gonna be the same team that you were in the season, or are you just gonna be a different team with a new offense? That's what I always believed in the playoffs. You can't play with the same playbook. You can't play with the same offensive plays. You can throw them in there once in a while, but you have to get that defense off the feet. If you're throwing it to your number 1 receiver, I mean, the Seahawks, underrated. One of the reasons I say overrated is because all he does is throw to Sammy Watkins. You cover Sammy Watkins, is that done?
This whole game plan shut down. I mean, the great teams are going to be able to catch on to that and shut it down immediately.
Correct. Now, on the AFC side, the Dolphins. That's your team?
There's offense everywhere.
Dolphins.
Say again? Oh, the Dolphins.
Who are you taking? Or do you think Tennessee's just going to run with it and go to the Super Bowl?
I don't think it's that easy for Tennessee. I mean, like, you look at their game against the Broncos, They can have the ball moved on them, and then they can be stopped at the same time. They've had some close games in there. I don't see them just running through the AFC in the playoffs. I think it's gonna have some tough games. There may be potential for a loss here and there. I mean, specifically against the Bills and the Chargers. Those are the teams I see being the biggest threat to the Tennessee. Maybe the Dolphins. Not in the ready team.
Okay. Maybe the Dolphins. Broncos have nobody left on their schedule. They should, with the win out, with 11-5.
Hey, if the Broncos
12-5.
if the Broncos play Tennessee again, that's a game to watch because Broncos gave them a run for their money the first time they played.
Well, okay, so say we have all this, and then we end up with somebody sneaking. I mean, the AFC, I don't think anyone's sneaking into the playoffs. But you have the potential.
Yeah, it's pretty established.
You have the potential of Panthers on the other side sneaking in. I mean, let's talk about Atlanta. What do you think of Atlanta, the new user?
Hey, he's been doing good, but like he's not. I don't think he's on the level of the Carolina. He's good, but I don't think much of him.
All right, so
He's been a lot better than the old user.
A lot better than the old. I mean, he beat the Saints. I mean, nowadays everybody's beating the Saints, but I'm just saying, he beat the Saints.
Saints, pretty good team.
He was going back and forth with. I mean, Tennessee, and he got shut down. He did beat the Cardinals. Beat the Cardinals. Beat the Saints. Lost a close game to the Panthers. And then, I mean, the rest of their games are cakewalks. I mean, they got the Rams, which could give them a hard time. They have the Buccaneers, and they have the Colts. Say he wins out 9-7. Only one can get in. Who gets in?
I don't even think he could take that game against the Rams, honestly.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. The Rams is tough. The Rams are definitely a tough team, and they have some losses. I don't think this. It's too little, too late. You got the team a little bit too late. Got the reins a little bit too late, and I don't think he's ready for the big time yet.
9-7. He's gonna be a tiebreaker between the Panthers and him, and he has a tiebreaker.
True.
He beats the Rams. He's basically in.
That's true. That's a big game to watch right there.
Then that makes the Green Bay and Panthers game even more important.
That is a ginormous game.
So we might end up with 3 people in the same division. We might end up with the New Orleans Saints at number 3, number 5 the Atlanta Falcons, number 6 the Panthers. Green Bay's completely out.
Ooh, that's good. That's good stuff right there. Hey, three teams from one division in the playoffs, and you don't see that every day. Like,
no,
it's
but
possible. I mean, small percentage chance of it happening.
With the schedule, the way it looks like, he gets past the Rams, and the Panthers beat the Green Bay, and they're done.
Yeah.
And we could be looking at that. Or if Green Bay does get through, I mean, don't get me wrong, Green Bay is a great team. They'll get through, and they'll be Green Bay and the Falcons.
Yeah. I got Green Bay in that game if they were to play each other.
I'm telling you right now, I think it's something to look for.
Yeah, definitely. That's interesting. Never saw it that way.
All right, so great show today, Ruben. It's time for the last word.
The last word!
What's your last word, Ruben?
My last word. The Detroit Lions will not choke this year. They will make it all the way. If they're going to win the Super Bowl, it's too soon for me to say, but Detroit's definitely going to make it all the way. I don't see anybody that can stop them. So, it's Detroit's year. That's my last word.
My last word, Titans take it all. That's my last word. Titans take it all. They played some tough teams. They've already been to the playoffs. I think they can pass the Bills this time around. Titans don't look like they're slowing down. And their pass rush and their defense is one of the best. That's my last word. Thanks, guys, for watching, and thanks, guys, for listening. to the last word. Until next time, see ya.
Hold up.